From rumors of an early release date to Peter Sutherland's questionable future in the show, these are new details from The Night Agent Season 2 revealed. The Night Agent should probably expect another call soon, because from the looks of it, there's another season in the pipeline. According to the series creator Sean Ryan, it's been pure madness for the cast and crew ever since the show was released. Seeing the tremendous reaction everyone had to the show, it wasn't long until it finally received the green light from Netflix to get a sequel out ASAP. But considering how everything's still in the early phases of development, it's hard to say just when the new season will drop. Although, if I had to take a guess, a ballpark figure for the release date could be sometime next year, but no later than 2024, thankfully. And as far as how many episodes we should be looking forward to, then, well, it looks like Sean's gonna follow the same formula that worked for the first season and break the new season down into 10 episodes. Obviously, Ryan's approach to the show has been pretty unique, and while adapting the book's easy, it's also important to note that Sean didn't head straight into the project with a 5-season plan. Instead, he wanted the narrative to lead the course of the show, and because of that, there'll be a few changes to the show from this point on. Apparently, there's going to be a major change to the cast and storyline. While the first season had Diane Farr as the White House Chief of Staff, who did bad things less for personal gain and more for some murky sense of the greater good, it looks like Season 2 might not feature her character once it airs. Why? Well, that's because Sean thinks that her story was fully told in the first season, and moving on, he doesn't have any plans on bringing back many characters from previous seasons. While Farr also survives that action-packed finale, Ryan's not too sure whether there's anything left for her to do on the show. At most, she'll probably slink off somewhere in the future, and maybe nurse the painful gunshot she gets in the finale, but that's about it. Or perhaps a messy criminal trial's waiting for her too, after a difficult stay at the hospital. But the writers might not put too much focus on Diane for now. With that said, he does feel the pressure of having to exceed the expectations set by Season 1. But he's also confident in his storytelling skills, and promises to deliver a unique and fresh narrative within the world of The Night Agent. You know, there's been a slight change to the mix, but there's still room for some familiar faces in the sequel. Cause without Gabriel Basso's Peter Sutherland and Luciani Buchanan's Rose Larkin, The Night Agent's literally nothing. Both actors are expected to come back, and other characters will follow suit as well. Sarah Desjardins will return to the screen as Maddie Redfield, and Fola Evans-Akingbola will reprise her role as Chelsea Arrington. Obviously, these 4 are more or less confirmed to be on the show for now, but the same can't be said for the rest. Not only is there a big question mark on Hong Chau's return, but there's little information about whether actor Christopher Shire will make a comeback as former Vice President Redfield either. If you recall, Redfield very surprisingly survives the bombing from the Camp David bunker. Plus, his co-conspirator Wicks also alive and on the run, so there's a possibility that he may or may not make a cameo in the future. Now, here's where Gordon's fate as a character is almost like a catalyst for Season 2, because while this guy was literally urging everyone to go along with a coup, he was also very sneakily hatching an escape plan. In case things went south, Gordon wanted some sort of security, and that's why he got on the plane and was able to slip away in the dark of night. Sean actually explained why they let this bit happen. To him and the writers, they liked that there was at least one person who was able to use his resources to slink away. So maybe for Season 2, Gordon's able to come back and explain his motives, or just be the guy you call who gets the job done. Of course, there's another detail that Sean wants to change about the show too, and that's about the setting. Sean thinks that shooting the series in the same place might just make things a bit too redundant, so right now, it's pretty much set in stone that the upcoming season won't take place in Washington, D.C., if that's what you're wondering. But that's pretty much all that he's willing to say about what fans can expect. Even Gabriel Basso's being kept in the dark about Season 2's plans. Like, at least keep someone in the loop, Sean. We can't exactly milk information out of Basso right now, but we do know that Ryan doesn't intend on dragging anyone's story for the sequel, because given the response the show's received, the audience seems satisfied with Peter's story for now. They know the truth about his father, and the audience even knows what the whole conspiracy was. But here's the thing. Are we even sure that Peter's father was the traitor? Because while there's proof that he was, it's also a lot more complicated than that. See, in the finale, the president basically offers Peter an award for what went down with the whole Camp David assassination attempt. And instead of taking the medal, Peter asks him the truth about his dad, Peter Sutherland Sr., played by Sebastian Roberts. For much of Peter's life, he thought his dad, an FBI agent, had committed treason and died in vain before ever being convicted of the alleged crime. But then, Peter was finally able to watch his dad's own confession tape, where he admitted to being approached by a foreign agent in 2004 and also accepted money, feeding him information on private contractors and whatnot. It was this incident that later caused a breach at the Pentagon, and that's when Peter realizes that what he knew in his heart was true all along. Now, of course, since fans already know this, it wouldn't make sense to drag on the whole corrupt dad who was falsely accused plot for Season 2. But it can sort of set the scene for how this new information will change Peter's morals going on. Because the truth is, his dad wasn't killed for being a spy, but died as a double agent for the US, while trying to rectify the damage that he had done. Having said that, what does this mean for Peter in Season 2? We've cracked the dad thing, and we've also unveiled the conspiracy, so there's not a whole lot left to cover. Of course, since there's a Season 2 planned out now, it makes sense to wonder about how the show will continue. Season 1 followed Matthew Quick's book of the same name, but did you know that there's never been a second book? So realistically speaking, no one knows about Peter's further adventures within the world of the Night Agent. Ryan says that Peter's new gig will bring him a new set of problems though, because remember, he was handed a mysterious tablet and all? But since Quirk's a producer on the show too, he can sort of lend the ideas he had for a second book, if he had any. And on the other end, the writers behind the show can probably whip up another plot of their own, which is more likely. Season 1 had plenty of twists and turns, so it makes sense to build up on them for the sequel. Sure, Peter's only job is to basically sit in the basement of the White House all night and man an emergency phone line for undercover spies, but this sets up so much promise for the future. While Season 1 had him risk his career and life to protect Rose from 2 assassins out, and unveiled a dark conspiracy involving the president, Season 2 can follow the after effects of their adventures. Because not only were these two able to find the people who's killed Rose's family, but they also successfully unveiled the truth behind the terrorist attack on the DC Metro. And then there was the whole saving the president's life bit too, which only added to the insanity that their wild goose chase was. For now though, there's 2 major questions that Season 2 needs to address once it premieres. 1. What happens when Peter gets on that plane in the season finale? And 2. Now that Rose is going back to Silicon Valley to pursue her Silicon Valley dreams, where does that leave the 2 of them? Is Peter actually a night agent now? And is his father's fate just a foreshadowing of what's in store for Peter in the future? Guess we'll have to wait until next year to find out. So, from Peter Sutherland's questionable future in the show to rumors of an early release date, those were new details from The Night Agent Season 2 revealed.